Here's the 2019 all-new Audi A6, competing in the executive posh luxury sedan segment, and its competition being the Mercedes E-Class and the BMW 5 Series. Let's see what Audi has to offer for its luxury sedan buyers. Today the car we have with us is the S-Line version of the A6, which looks way more sportier than a regular A6. And what you immediately notice when you look at the car are these huge grills. And that's what Audi's trying to go for with most of their fleet, is that prominent road presence with these massive grills. Moving over to the bumper, as mentioned, this is the S-Line version, so it is sportier than the regular A6. Now for over a decade, Audi is known for its fancy LEDs, and with these headlights, they've done just as good in current generation trends. This looks just as fancy and stylish today. Hopping over to the side profile, we look at 20-inch alloys on this specific car with a little badge on the side here which says it's the S-Line version. What is very different about the side profile with this specific A6 is this new design with a cut that begins right from the center of the rear door and moves all the way towards the brake lights. This, in terms of design, is very interesting and it gives the car a very sleek look, so I really like this one little change. Talking about the back, what I like about the new Audi lights are these bars within them, and that's connected with the silver chrome strip, and that's pretty much the new Audi signature. You would see this on all of their fleet. Talking about this car in specific, as mentioned, it is the S-Line trim, so it does look very sporty with its bumpers, but what is such a turn-off are these exhausts, because they are super fake. The actual ones sit underneath the car. In regards to boot space, it could be opened via the keys, so it has remote boot opening, and it is pretty big. It is 530 liters of boot space, which is exactly the same as the BMW 5 Series, although its competition, which is the E-Class, is a wee bit bigger. But then again, 530 liters is really big enough. So all in all, according to me, the car does look really good, but what it really has to offer is on the inside and under the hood. So let's hop inside and talk about what it has to offer. Can we take a minute to adore this interior? I absolutely adore this new interior. It has two screens. They are so much fun, and I'm gonna get into that in a bit. Well, let's talk about what is around me for now. On the left of my steering, I do have the light controls. So you have different light modes, that's auto, and if you just like the LEDs to be on, that's your daytime running lights. Towards my left of the seat, I have a two-seat memory profile right here. Beneath that, I have the window controls and the mirror controls. Center console, as mentioned, we have two touch screens that we'll talk about a little later. Right underneath that is the hazard light and the traction mode, as well as different drive modes which could be selected from here. The engine start-stop push-to-start is right here, so this is where we switch on the car from. The gear, I really like this for the fact that I can actually rest my hand on it, so it's really convenient. Right underneath that, you have your auto mode, as well as that is the eco mode rather, and the parking sensors, as well as the emergency brake. Now we do have a little storage area here. This is for cup holders, and it actually has a key storage that you can put right into the center here, so that's really convenient. And about this storage, it's a little weird, to be honest. It is not really operated with a button. It's kind of just like a lid that you need to lift up a little bit. And this is the only storage compartment over here. Now this is literally just half of my finger deep, so it's not too much in regards to storage, but overall the center console looks really crisp and I think it's really on point. Let's talk about the front screens. Alright, now this is a touch screen, but what's different is that you really need to press your way through it. So if I'm touching random things, it is not very sensitive, but it is responsive. So when you do press whatever you are trying to get to, you do have that little sensation, which is a little vibration. So you feel like you're pressing a button, but it is a touchscreen. So that's pretty cool for here. And about the features, let's get to that in a bit as to what it has to offer. I'm going to talk about the second screen for now, which is your climate control. So you have infotainment, down here is climate control. Now a fun feature according to me is that if I were to sync the two temperatures that will be off here and here, what I need to do is just pinch my hands together and it syncs. So I really like that. And as well as with adjusting the fan speed, I can just run my finger up this way, which increases fan speed and decreases when I pull it down, and vice versa as well with the temperature. So I can just run my finger up to increase and decrease by running it lower. So very interesting, good on technology. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the Climate. And overall interior feels, this does feel luxurious, yes, but what I probably don't like would be the little bit of plastic here, which looks a little off. It doesn't really go in sync with what's going on here. But other than that, I do like the cabin. It is a really good feel. Let's hop over to the back now and talk about how it feels sitting in the back seat. So now we're in the back, it is super spacious. I can actually swing my feet right here, so I do have a lot of space considering that the front seat is quite pushed back. Now, what is missing primarily in the back seat? Firstly, we do have this little thing that comes out here. There is no storage, barely any. Barely, not even half of my finger. It's literally quarter finger deep. Cup holders are what's missing. It is about an added charge of about 400 dirhams for cup holders and USB ports at the back. These need to be standard, honestly, Audi. You need to have this into your car. So just for cups, that's ridiculous. I mean, it should have been here. It's just an empty space. Anyway, moving on, the entire car is a 4-zone climate control, so you do have the front seats that control their own climate as well as the back seats. We do have vents in the B-pillar as well as here, and it could be controlled exactly in the same motion as the front, whereas you push up for upping the temperature and lowering the temperature, and same with the fan speed up and down. So that's pretty much it about here in the back. It is very spacious. What I would like to mention is that the panoramic roof apparently should have extended it all the way here, but it's just a regular roof on top of my head. There is no panoramic to it, so it's, then again, a sunroof. Anywho, let's jump back in front and talk about the features. So, let's talk features. Let's begin with what is on the steering wheel and what's around it. I'm going to begin with the speed limiter and cruise control lever. Honestly, I think this could be made a little more modern. It is a lot of back push forth and press a lot of buttons to actually set cruise or limit speed. So that gets pretty annoying, especially when you're in the gist of doing it. It just gets really, really annoying with, should I be pushing it front, should I be pushing it back? So Audi, I think you can be making this a little more modern with how to be operating that. Right over that, you have the blinkers. On this side, we do have the wiper options. The steering does have paddle shifters, and on the steering we could be adjusting what our virtual Audi cockpit looks like. So I do have the option of different views where I can choose in media, information about the car, maps, which has fabulous graphics by the way, and again adjust the view to how I'd like it to look. So the graphics on this are very, very, very crisp. Moving over to the fun screen. Alrighty, firstly, this supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And what I really like about the screen is that you have the option of choosing 6 different profiles for 6 different users. So you can really play around with how you'd like it to your preference. So that's a very smart thing to do. What is really cool, like I mentioned earlier, is that you're not touching the screen, you're actually pressing it oh so slightly. So that is a very impressive thing. Then again, it has the option of a clean mode where you could have it clench very well, it could be done all well, and you're not pressing anything. So that's pretty smart. Rather than just switching off the screen, you still have the screen on and you can be cleaning it. Let's talk about the navigation system. So let's hit navigation over here. There goes our map. Now if I do want to search, the bottom screen, which is technically climate control, turns into a scribble pad, or I can even type down where I'd like to go. So this is a very interesting feature, something I wasn't really expecting whatsoever. Now moving over to my favorite feature is the cameras. Yes, of course, we all know 360 cameras exist, you do have all of those views, but what I adore in this car is the 3D view. Honestly, that is so smart. Look at it, look at that graphic. And having technology like this, trust me, it is impossible to be hitting another car when you're parking when technology like this exists. So kudos, I absolutely adore this one specific feature. And what else do we have around the car? We do have a sunroof. They call it a panoramic, but it honestly just opens right above the driver's seat, so it's not really that much. And we do have interior lighting. We have options for interior ambience lighting and interior lighting, a couple of colors that are available, and yeah, that's pretty much it on features within here. And coming to safety, we do have options like lane keep assist, lane departure warning. The blind spot monitor, in fact, is really smart in this car because it's not on the mirror, it is on the side mirror but towards the driver, so it's not technically on the mirror display itself. So that's pretty smart because it kind of shows you way better than, you know, looking into the mirror. And what is missing in this car is adaptive cruise control. I think that should have been an added-on feature anyway, but it comes as a cost, so you do have to be paying a little more to have that feature in the car. But overall, yes, safety-wise, really good. Interiors-wise, features-wise, I would definitely give it plus because in terms of features, I absolutely love this. So coming to how this feels on the drive. Talking about the engine, it is a 3.0 turbo V6 and it has 335 HP of horsepower. So in terms of power, it feels great. It does 0 to 100 in about 5.5 odd seconds. And in regards to the drive, it is super smooth. And there is a thing to be noted that the cabin is so quiet. So even though you're gonna be revving, you can't really hear it. Again, considering this is the S-Line and with the sporty look, etc., you would kind of expect it to have the little roar. But even so, the cabin is very quiet, even on the different modes. So coming into drive modes, there are 5 types. We have a efficiency, comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. So dynamic mode is pretty much your sports mode, and even then it is very quiet inside the cabin. Now you can also have your own individual modes, so you pretty much set up the car as to your preference. So that's a really good thing to have on the vehicle. Moving into a dislike in regards to when I'm driving, I would actually prefer traditional ways of handling the controls of the climate, just for the reason being I need to divert my focus from driving onto the screen to figure out, am I actually turning up fan speed? What exactly am I doing? So I need to have my attention diverted from the road to the screen, figure out what I'm doing, and back up. So probably if it was knobs, it would be simpler to handle. A feature while driving that I would again like to highlight is my favorite feature, moving back to the 3D view. So while we're driving, it actually shows us exactly where we're going. Number one, in 3D, if I were to brake, it tells me that I'm braking. And if I were to turn on a blinker, it also shows that to me here on my display. So this is pretty incredible because yes, I understand while you're stationary that will work, but the fact that it's a moving vehicle and it looks this cool and this real, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly the kind of technology we need. But there are a couple of downsides to technology, and I'm gonna get into that in just a wee bit once I just make this turn. So to give you a final verdict on the drive, it is very stable, and that pretty much comes in thanks to the all-wheel drive, or the quattro system as Audi calls it. So even when I am pushing it on this roundabout, I can feel that stability, so I'm not really losing grip or anything of that sort. So we got that going, which is really great, and as mentioned, it is a quiet cabin, so it definitely feels luxurious. It is a very smooth drive. So all in all, another thumbs up to Audi on the way this feels on the drive. So talking about costs and prices, the Audi A6 ranges from 258,000 dirhams all the way up to 42,000 dirhams with your added costs with every option that you choose. The car we have with us today is valued exactly at 355,740, which is pretty expensive. But hey, my verdict on the car is that this in fact is a baby A8. And looking at its competition, the 5 Series is a baby 7 Series and the E-Class is a baby S-Class with Mercedes. So in regards to that, I think Audi has done a fine job when making this the baby A8. Let us know what you think about the car. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Would you buy it or would you not? We'd love to know. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for more reviews coming your way. Thank you.